It's quite interesting actually. So I had been in Ghana before as a consultant, and I think after about close to a year or so, a friend of mine from Ghana reached out to me and told me, hey June, there's this company that's looking for an engineering manager. At first it sounded so surreal because I told my mom, hey mom, there's a company in Ghana that's recruiting an engineering manager. They actually want to hire me to go to Ghana. And my mom asked me, are you sure? I'm like, yes. Food culture is a big deal in Ghana. In Ghana, people like to gather around their chalk bars. They really, really love their local food. It's quite interesting. There's actually a largely growing community of, I'd say, Kenyans who are coming to Ghana. And I think Africa is in an exciting place, to be honest.
What's up guys, welcome to another episode of the vlog. My name is Sandira Ganga. This is the debut episode of Daring Ghana, where we bring in foreigners who are living and working in Ghana and they share their experience about being in this beautiful West African country. Our first guest today is interesting. She's Kenyan, she's an engineering manager here in Ghana, but we want to hear her story, how she came to Ghana and how she's finding it.
My name is June Safe. I have been in Ghana for 4 years. I came to Ghana specifically for work. I work with an organization called PEG Africa. PEG Africa is a social enterprise that is majorly focused in providing renewable energy solutions. They offer asset financed products to customers majorly based in the rural areas, and most of these customers are actually farmers. So basically farmers are able to acquire a solar panel home setup where they get a TV, a fridge, solar bulb lighting, and even solar pumps. Basically just getting assets that they can be able to use to improve their livelihood, that of their community and their families. It's quite interesting actually. So I had been in Ghana before as a consultant, and I think after about close to a year or so, a friend of mine from Ghana reached out to me and told me, hey June, there's this company that's looking for an engineering manager. And I was like, I don't know whether that's really what I want to do. He was like, so just check it out. So I checked out the profile and I said, I think this is something that I can definitely try out. And as I say, I got into an interview, and I think after having 3 sessions with the recruiting manager, they said, we want to hire you for the job. At first it sounded so surreal because I told my mom, hey mom, there's a company in Ghana that's recruiting an engineering manager. They actually want to hire me to go to Ghana. And my mom asked me, are you sure? I'm like, yes, like full-time base. And then she asked me, they prepare for you a work visa? And I said, yes, they'll do all that for me. It's a literal job, yeah. And that was somewhere in 2017 around May, and I remember in July 2017 I came to Ghana, and that's where my journey started. Though that wasn't my first time in Ghana. I had been to Ghana a few times before. Like I said, I worked here as a consultant, so I pretty much still had my understanding around how the environment was, yeah. So definitely extreme different. I always say Africa is not the same space. As much as we are all within the continent, there's just a completely different culture that you tend to see across the region. First starts with the climate. The moment you get out of your flight in Accra, there's like this heat that just smacks you on the face. You're like, whoa, yeah. And just that's the first thing. You're coming from Nairobi, which is a completely cool, toned down weather, and then you reach here and suddenly everything is really hot. So that was the first change for me. The weather was a completely different thing. And then I think just the pace in which things move in Accra, things are a bit, I don't want to say extremely slow, but things are a bit more slower pace as compared to how things in Nairobi are. And so those are some of the things that I really had to learn and adjust myself to. I used to be very fast paced. I'm not slow, but I think one of the things I've learned from the culture here is that I've learned to be a bit more calm, which is something that is not easily acquired in Nairobi. And even nowadays when I go back to Nairobi, I don't find myself getting aggravated so quickly by things. I think I have picked something good from Accra, which is being calm. I had to adjust myself to the food here. So number one, the food here it can be quite oily. I have to say that, like, for some reason everything floats on oil. Vegetables float on oil, beans float on oil, fish and meat float on oil. But maybe on the flip side, you can also say the oil is healthy oil because it's palm oil. So that kind of like brings a bit of difference. And then the thing I also learned about the food culture is that food culture is a big deal in Ghana. So one of the things you'll notice maybe in Nairobi, people like to go out and hang out in places where they'll have maybe like baked potatoes, have some fancy meal, you know, the samosas and all that. In Ghana, people like to gather around their chalk bars. They really love their local food. That's something I've personally noticed here. So, and because there's such a buying of their local food and there's so much connected to their local food, you actually have to also start learning how to acclimatize yourself to learn how to eat some local food, because you're not gonna eat KFC forever, you're not gonna eat chicken in food forever. So you slowly learn how to eat the local food. And I think for now I'm kind of used to the pepper, and I would say their food is more spicy and has, yeah, the food is spicy. They usually say our food is flat, and I think after a while when you stick around here, I would attest to that it's a bit true that our food is a bit flat sometimes. Culture-wise, there are a lot of things you need to learn about culture, you know, and sometimes we feel that our culture should, because of our difference in culture, it makes us judge people harshly or differently. But you also realize that culture is a beautiful thing because it allows you to appreciate probably something that you never had a perspective of. Like I previously said, Ghanaians are more calm people. I used to get aggravated. Like I remember there were times I order an Uber and I just get really pissed off, like, why is this Uber person not here and all that. Like, there's just a side of calmness around them that you really learn how to like cool down. But that side also has its extreme negative side, which can sometimes not really work great, because sometimes you also feel that things tend to be a bit slow in terms of things trying to move fast, so you're trying to drive people to awareness to do something. I feel like that has been some of the frustration that I have faced. Even from a work perspective, culturally in the office, you know, I've had people sometimes tell me, June, I think you're moving too fast for me, you know, and I had to readjust myself. But also my personality in terms of being a fast person and all that, I've actually seen how it's influenced my team as a manager. And they've actually picked up a way of working where they say, well, June, our friends meet us and they tell us, how did you learn that? Do you work for this type of company? They say, no, I work for a company in Ghana. But how are you able to quickly process that? So I think that's the beauty of culture. You know, you're able to rub off each other and you can pick some positives. For me, I've learned how to be calm. For them, they've also learned how to quickly think on their feet. And I've seen that's how culture has kind of like rubbed itself off on a positive and negative way, if you want to think of it. Yeah. It's quite interesting. There's actually a largely growing community of, I'd say, Kenyans who are coming to Ghana, and I think Africa is in an exciting place, to be honest, because I think most people might have noticed that the president of Ghana, Nana Addo Akufo, mentioned, I think that was in 2019 when he announced about the year of return, and there was a flood of just all these African native people coming from all over the world, from North America, Europe, the Caribbean, even Africans were coming to Ghana, and it's an exciting space to be in. So there's so much opportunity here in Ghana. There's opportunity to tap into the cultural space if you're a creative person. For us as Kenyans, most of us are huge on tech. You can imagine it's being an engineering manager in the tech space that brought me. So there are those kinds of opportunities. And I think one of the beautiful things that COVID has just brought to the world is that we are actually a global village. We are more connected than we've ever thought we are. So I definitely encourage anyone who wants to come and explore the opportunities here in Ghana to come and check it out. So I think one of the first things that you have to put in mind, I'll probably put it into 4 things. First, you need to understand the cost of living. And from the cost of living, I'll just break it down into the core things. House, access to house, and transport, and maybe just how you move around generally. The other thing is the cultural side. Are you comfortable with moving into a space where people don't see things the same way you see? People don't probably think things the same way you think about them, and you're willing to interact with those people and find a way where how you can interact or relate to them. The other thing I would say, if you're coming to Ghana, that you probably need to look out is to the weather. Are you comfortable with moving from the cool, calm climate and coming to a place where the weather for most of the year tends to be quite generally warm? Is that something you're comfortable with? I think those are some of the things for me coming to Ghana that I really had to acclimatize myself to, because in Ghana you pay rent for about 2 years. That's not something a Kenyan would be used to. Where do you get money to pay rent for 2 years? How? Those kinds of things can really, really put you off. And so those are just some of the realities that you need to ask yourself whether you're ready to deal with those kinds of outcomes.
What Ghanaian words can you say? 5 Ghanaian words that you can say.
5 Ghanaian words? Oh my God, this is where the Ghanaians are gonna beat me. Okay, so one is medase. It is saying.
Translate.
Oh, medase is thank you. Etise is how are you doing? I think so. The one I always hear because I go to church. Onyame, that's God. The other 4th one is ko, which I think means come. And then the 5th one is this 5th one has evaporated from my word. The word is no, but I can't remember how it's actually about. The Ghanaians will smoke me. But yeah, I think I'll try it. I'll say it for.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Guys, thank you so much for watching the video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please share the video, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode of the vlog. But before I sign out, if you know of any foreigner that you'd like for us to feature on the vlog, or you yourself are a foreigner and you'd like to share your story, leave the comment down below and you could be the next one on this series. Bye guys.